So you might notice that we're not in fast forward time, even though this is the beginning of the episode, and that's because my base starts failing immediately after I start up this hands-off period. So I figured why even bother. During the last episode, I worked with a lot of splitters and set up quite a few improvements to the base. Got more zinc mining done and got into just like fixing the base because there wasn't like a huge infrastructure change. I do start building a duralumin, which now I've tried practicing saying a few times, so hopefully I'll get it right. But one of the things I said during that time was I would try not to fix things that weren't broken with splitters, and then I did it anyway. So up here, I had a complicated inserter thing going on, and I was like, oh, a splitter would make this so much nicer. Then what I forgot is this is coming in on that lane, and the inserters will pull by preference from the nearest lane. So my coal dust here is not being consumed, and it's about to kill my science production. So I'm going to go first. Let's put in another memento mori. Yet another one. Copy this one. Put it in. Fail at 4745. Whoops. And this is because lane for coal dust was not balanced, therefore not consumed. I don't want to aggressively put in lane balancers if I can avoid it. They're kind of UPS drain, but in certain circumstances it's necessary. In this case, what I am going to do though is I'm just going to back this up a bit, move this out to even earlier location, and then I'm going to put in a lane switcher. That'll make this go to the outside lane, and everything will be great. So, in some hands-on time... Oh, actually, I need to go into hands-on time. There we go. So in some hands-on time, I'm going to clear out the system a little bit so that it unjams itself and hopefully starts going forward. And then we'll get into some of the things that I wanted to do, although I was hoping to get tanks. So hopefully science catches up quickly, and I can get into some tank-based stuff. Anyway, see you after I've dealt with my latest disaster. Well, since this has given me some additional time to work, I'm going to finish what I was doing last time, which is turning the iron oxide that comes out of the science base ash separation and the ore that comes out of the soot separation, make it usable for the science base. So yeah, this is what I'm going to work on right now. I think this is pretty obvious what the design is going to be. I'm just going to split these off and be back in a bit after I've done that. Alright, and that takes care of that. During the last session, I had wired it into my science base already. I just need to build in the machines. And it looks like science has caught up, so I'm going to reset my science blinker. I'm not going to increase the target when I've had a failure, because that seems silly. I could just get myself into a doom spiral doing that. But yeah, this is now working as far as I can tell, and I guess my ability to tell is questionable, but we'll keep on trucking as if it wasn't. Oops. So now I'm going to, since I don't have tanks quite yet, and that was had been my plan for what to do this episode, I think I'm going to clear out even more of this space of leftover stuff, move this ash separation and sorting, and finish mining out the last of this zinc area. So I'll be back after I've done that as well. See you soon. Okay, so I've finished adding a bunch of fluid mining drills to mostly cover this patch. And I think that's going to be, that was just enough time for me to stall to get tanks going. So I'm going to go grab those and check my time. Oh, that's not good. I did not reset my time. So I'll apply a corrective measure. This was about 120 minutes, so it should be down to, let's say, 69. Ha ha ha. So let's put this down to 9 and reset the timer. Good thing I built all that functionality to help fix goofs like that one. All right, so now I want to make some tanks and do some fun stuff with tanks. This is something that I've been kind of looking forward to, actually, because I think there are some nifty things you can pull off even at this stage before you get combinators with some tank stuff. Let me go grab some lead. By the way, what you might notice when you look at the tanks that I have, that if you're playing Pyanodons, they are not the same sizes as you are used to. So, for instance, this one is 27.5 kiloliters, where normally in Pyanodons it is 40. This isn't a Pi hard mode thing. This is an option that I have personally selected because there's some tanks in Pyanodons that are just kind of goofy. Like this 250 kiloliter one is normally 100, but it takes up so much space. And it ends up being that there's basically just two tanks that are good. This one, because it's cheap, and this one, because it's very small for the amount of fluid it takes. And that didn't feel right. Like, it actually feels better if they're balanced. They're now balanced according to their footprint on the ground. So per tile, they're, I think, 2.5 kiloliters. So this one, you know, like, it was 100 kiloliters, even though it's massive. Like, let's take a look at it. And you could easily have more space by putting 4 of these down in a smaller form factor, cheaper, and you know, like, just overall much more useful. So that's why I tick that box, and why you might not be familiar with the tank size that I'm using. Let's grab some more sticks, and I'm going to need quite a few of these. First thing I want to do with them is to create just a simple steam buffer for my electricity system. The thing is, since I'm often running on electric power from wind, that is, it is very inconsistent. So electric power from wind can go up to 10% of its rated output to 190% of its rated output. So a lot of the time, I'm just kind of wasting power up here. That's fine, although I've got an idea to address that a little bit. Some of the time, it's dropping down to 10%, and then my steam power has to take up the slack. And it's taking up the slack at like 188. So if I don't have enough steam, which I probably do not actually have enough steam to create 188 continuous megawatts of power, I'm basically screwed. But I only need that for a little bit. So if I set up a little steam buffer here by putting in some tanks, which is temporarily going to nerf my power grid, but needs must, then I can have the kind of like the averaged output of all my boilers rather than the instantaneous output. There's like a little bit of a steam buffer because, you know, like just because of the number of like there's some buffered inside of the engines themselves, but not enough to, you know, like carry on for a minute or two or three, the time needed to like hit that target. If I'm, you know, like at 10% for a significant, like it varies in that sinusoidal pattern, but that sinusoidal pattern means that it'll drop down for, you know, like a minute or two or three, especially as I get closer to the limit of the wind power that I have. So I'm just going to fill up these buffers, and now that I have a pretty large steam buffer, I can set this valve up much higher. And now these will just go burr and fill up on as much steam as possible, and that's going to be great. So I'll have plenty of kind of like temporary power here. May need to even, you know, like add more steam engines, but I've got space for that down here. And in the meanwhile, wind has taken over. Like, it varies, but that's how it goes. The next thing that I want to accomplish with my tanks is I want to set up buffers for the fluids here. And not because I want to preserve a large amount of these fluids around. Despite the fact that, you know, like I'm making solidified aromatics, the aromatics production is massive. And I don't, like, storing them as zinc plate is doable. Storing them in tanks is just silly. Like, I've already made, let's see. Why does it not list production? That's odd. Let's assume that it's like consumption. I've already made 3 million aromatics. Yeah, it's right here. Already made 3 million aromatics, and I just don't want to store tanks of, you know, like 50 or 100 million aromatics by the time I end. I'd rather store, like, you know, 50 steel chests worth of zinc plate. But what I do need it for is some buffering for, you know, like just smoothing out the curve on like using it up within the glass furnaces. So I'm going to set up like a few tanks for buffering each of these fluids. I might need some more tanks. But I'll be right back after I've found a good location to set up buffers for this stuff. Okay, I've found a place to store all of these, all of the relevant fluids that I might end up needing or voiding. I probably will want to put gasoline somewhere when that becomes a concern. But for now, um, I would just like to measure these tanks. And this is going to help set up a latch to void them. So what's going on right now is I'm just trying to shove fluids into this sushi pipe, and all of the pumps are kind of working willy-nilly. And this works especially badly with when you have like just dregs coming in. The pump works slowly. As you can see, it's only running at like 20 per second, and the pipe ends up being cleared very slowly. So I want to improve this system, and even though I don't have combinators yet, what I can do is set up latches to get rid of this stuff. How am I going to set up a latch? Well, I'm going to make a latch out of belts. So to do that, all I have to do, well, this is going to be kind of a slow latch. Like, it's not going to have the responsiveness of a combinator. But what it's going to do is it's going to read anything. Anything is greater than 20. It's going to enable and allow passage. Then it's going to read anything again. And if anything is less than 80, it's going to allow passage. Then, if I put a brick on here and have someplace like, where's my... greater than 80, I think, actually, and less than 20. So basically, if it gets up to 80, allow this to pass. If it drops below 20, allow this to pass. So if it got up to 80, the brick will be right here. And that's why I will read the belt contents, hold them, and I'll know if a brick is up here. That means that, like it's above 80. And it'll keep being above here until it gets below 20, and we've got a latch. It's kind of a slow-acting latch, but it is a latch. All I have to do is set up one for each of these pumps and activate them based off of, like a check valve that I'll put down here. So that's basically what I'm going to do for each of these fluids that I'm trying to void. And I'll be right back after I've done that and made sure it kind of works. So be back in a bit. Alright, so I've got my brick-based fluid latching system set up. I think I'm going to do one more for, because I want to bring coal gas down here. The reason being, coal gas is currently getting voided up here into this general line. And that's not the greatest thing because it, I could put a latch on here, but it's better if the fluids are getting merged all at the same place. It makes the sushi system a little bit better at avoiding everything. Otherwise, I need to try and latch this pump down here, and I don't really want to try and latch this pump down here. I'd rather this just be a direct connection to the glassworks, and I think I'm within the 250 tile radius for Factorio fluids to not need a pump if I took this one away. I'm going to move this coal gas voiding elsewhere down to the system that's down below. Alright, I'll assume that I need coal gas off to the left somewhere. And figure out a lane that I can use for fluids in here. There's got to be one. So I'll be back after I've sorted this out. Okay, I fixed this and I've added a tank buffer. Ooh, I've got 2 bricks on here for some reason. I guess I would forgotten that I added the first one. This should have the coal gas cycling. I think I'm going to set the thresholds on these a little lower. And I also want to use the specific gases. In most cases, it's not going to matter, but I think it does matter for coal gas. All right. It does matter for at least the carbolic, which is flickering in and out at 0, so it will not see the carbolic, and the anything virtual signal will not realize that it's below 20 is not 0, because there's no signal there for it to test at all. So this is flickering on and off. Also, I realized I need to add this belt being red because these are filling up. If they fill up while something is still on this belt will stall. So then the brick can get trapped on here. This is the downside of using these belt-based latch combinators. They've got a little bit of trickiness to them, unfortunately. So you got to be on your toes, or I'd have another disaster on my hands. Like that should be a hold signal, not a. Oops. Yep. I've made this full gas. This needs to be carbolic. All right. Anyway, I'm going to set these to the proper fuel type, and then I'll be right back. Okay, that's fixed, but I noticed that, my coal gas is not running properly, because I do not have the line connected. Now this should be voiding, but my science is dipped, and I'm not sure why, so I'm going to look for issues that would cause my science to dip. Looks like my tar was not working for a while, and it's kind of caught up at pitch, or tar. Usually it's tar. Yeah, my tar blocked because I blocked coal gas, and without those buffers that I just installed, there was no way for the coal gas to empty itself. It's nice that liquids are super responsive, but also they're really responsive, and there's just like no leeway. If you break the liquid system, it breaks instantly. So hopefully that'll catch up, but I might need to put in a little bit more tar. Also, notice that I'm gonna go sort this out. I think I might need to put in another tar line, and also see why my science base is not using any coke at all. It should still be at least making is not creating any tar at all, which is probably another reason it blanked. Like, seems to be going slowly, although it's making some. Wonder if my simple circuit system has broken. It has. Like powered resistors. No glass. No glass because of no liquid glass. Okay. Something else to fix. Alright, I'm going to fix these problems and report back to you once I've addressed them. Okay, I've added a little bit more tar, although it may be a preemptive solution since my science had bounced back up. It's back down again, but I'm just going to watch over my systems for a little bit and verify that it's caught up. I might take this time to move the buffers that I had planned to move a while ago. And yeah, one way or the other, either science will catch up or I will figure out what's going on. Alright, science has caught up, and I've just added a little bit more tar production and fixed that. So now, the bootstrap base stalling on tar production should not throw us under the threshold of producing the 120 that I'm currently targeting. So yeah, I think I'm going to go into hands-off mode. Thank you for joining me for this episode. I kind of enjoy playing with the weird circuit systems that you can build before you build combinators. It just feels like it's clever, even though it's a temporary solution. But yeah, the tanks are the serious benefit. Being able to put in steam buffer tanks for the electric grid is gonna. I think I was very close to the point where the electric grid was going to start browning out. Looking forward to seeing you during the next episode, hopefully with a successful challenge run.